Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in with Leading with Lee magazine. Today, we're here with radio personality Miss Angela Yee.
Hi. Thanks for taking time to come to the station.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem.
I know you're busy. Today, we'll talk about a lot of things.
Okay.
Have you always had a passion to become a radio personality?
Well, I don't think it wasn't something that I grew up wanting to do. You know, we both grew up in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But I wanted to be a writer always. So when I was younger, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a writer. I was always more of a behind-the-scenes kind of person. Mm-hmm. But radio is great for that because you are still kind of behind the scenes and not, you know. It's not like people necessarily see you, even though now they see us on Revolt TV every day. But it is, you know, people hear you. So it still is in a way kind of behind the scenes, but I think now with like everything being so visual and online and all of that, it's both. But, you know, it was something that I fell into by chance, and I love it.
Okay, that's great. So I know you've been in the radio business for a very long time. You started with Sirius XM radio, I think about in 2005, somewhere like that?
I was there for 6 years.
All right. See, now, I know that as a woman, we face a lot of problems in the industry and in the entertainment world. So as a young, gifted young woman as yourself, did you find that you had to work harder to accomplish some goals, you know, from your male counterparts?
I would say that I look at things sometimes as a gift and a curse. I believe that the reason I was even given the opportunity to be on the radio was because I was a woman. Because you know what it is. Like, it was, you know, I was on with Cypher Sounds. They were like, we need a female, you know, on the morning show. So in some ways, I know people always act like, you know, as a woman, it's harder. Some things are harder and some things are easier. You know, as a woman, it was easier because I wouldn't have been given that opportunity if I was a guy because they were looking for a female. You know, but then I think on the flip side of that, a lot of times people don't look as women as a lead on a show. You know, it's a lot more rare. So you might get your foot in the door and then it's what you do after that. Now, as far as working harder, I think in general, I always work really hard regardless. So I can't say like, you know, if I was a guy, would I not work as hard? I think for guys, they have a lot more competition because it's, even though it's a very male-dominated business, at the same time, now I have all these other guys I'm competing against. As a female, there's not as many of us, so, you know, no matter what, I think I always go above and beyond what I'm supposed to do in everything that I do. So I don't know if I necessarily worked harder because I worked just as hard as I would have. So it's hard to say. But I will say that I take advantage of every opportunity that I'm given.
Okay, so what does success mean to you? I mean, success is a broad word, and I know a lot of people think success is just about money, but what does it mean to you?
Well, I think that there's different levels of success, you know. I do feel like I've reached a certain level of success in my life, but there's a lot more things that I want to do. Like, I'm always setting goals for myself. So once I achieve something, then I'm like, okay, now I got to do this next step and this next step and this next step. So for me, you know, first of all, success was when I was given the opportunity to be on the radio. It was a probationary period, and I was like, okay, I got to get hired full-time. I ended up getting hired full-time. Then I ended up getting my own nighttime show, Lip Service. So that was success to me at that moment. And then Cypher left to go to Hot 97, and I ended up getting the morning show and being the only female on the station. I had my own show. That was success to me. Then after being there for a while, I was given the opportunity to do mornings in the #1 market, you know, in the United States, which is New York. And that was success to me. Then we ended up getting syndicated. That was another success, you know. So it's just, I think all the time, it's like, okay, what's the next step up the ladder? So I do feel like things have been great. And then, you know, personally, I was like, okay, now I'll feel successful if I can buy a house. And that was something that I did last year. I bought a house, and that was another success. And it was a great investment, and I feel great about it. So now it's like, okay, now I have to invest my money in other things. I just bought my first stock, you know, 2 weeks ago, and it did well. So now I'm learning how to invest in the stock market. And once I start doing that, I'll feel like I'm successful at that. It's just, you know, always something I feel like we should be striving toward.
Which is a great, powerful message to all our young, aspiring adults here. Now, I've met Angela at the Children Making Strides Against Cancer event, and she was the host there, and she's very humble. And I know that you've been involved in a lot of charity and youth empowerment events. How important is it to you to support young artists and young adults who's trying to strive for the best?
I think it's great. If I even can go to something and there's 200 people there and it matters to one person that I was there and it can change their life, that's always great to me. Like, when I was at Sirius, I had the Don't Quit Your Day Job segment that was for unsigned artists to get them some exposure. And then when I came here, I was like, okay, what can I do here? And I do Ask Ye, which is, I give people advice. So people can email me, they can tweet me, whatever. There's been times that people have been having some serious issues, and I've been like, I'll DM them and be like, send me your phone number, and I'll call them and speak to them. So I do feel like it's a big deal to me to just make a difference for somebody, even if it's just a phone call or a sit-down meeting. Like, those things mean a lot to me. So I think it's important that, we all take time out of our lives. I always feel like if I can go to a party and get paid to host a party, then I can take time out of my schedule to do something, even if it's for free, to go and talk to kids. Like, that's important too. So I always try to balance my life.
Which is great. And look, we're here doing an interview. Your support is so means so much to the community. So we thank you for all of that.
Oh, no problem. I mean, there's been kids that are like in college and they've been like, oh, I'm doing my college paper. I would love to come and interview. And I can't do everything because I would love to be able to do everything. But every now and then I'll be like, oh, all right, this young woman sent me a really nice email, blah blah blah. Let her come up and do the interview. It's just all in your approach, and I appreciate when people take the time out of their schedules, to say something positive and to do it in a great way.
Okay, so do you have any role models or mentors that you look up to? Because I know that it can be very busy and very hectic at times, and sometimes you need that role model or that mentor to like keep you balanced, or is that's just family and friends?
Well, now I do have people that I always feel like never act like you know everything. So there's different fields that I'm trying to learn a lot about. And I do have people that I go to, like, financially. I have somebody that's been helping me and learn about the stock market. And I sit down with him once a month, and he just goes over everything and helps me out. So I feel more comfortable in doing that. I find that a lot of my friends, are role models and mentors to me. So it's people that I look up to in this business, people that I went to college with that are, the same age, even they could be younger than me or whatever, but if you're successful at what you do, then I look up to you. And a lot of times I feel like my friends are really inspirational to me, and if your friends aren't inspirational to you, then you need to kind of change your circle a little. So we inspire each other, and I think that's important. It's a matter of, okay, you just went and did this. Oh, that inspired me because now that I saw you do it, I feel like, okay, I can do something like this too, and I have somebody that can help me learn how.
Okay, and I think that your circle is very important because it makes or breaks you at points, especially when you're trying to strive to do excellence. Right. So that's really great. I want to know, what's your purpose? What are you here for? What do you want to leave behind when you're gone?
I want people to say, obviously our interviews are really important to us. And I love the fact that we do interviews with people, and sometimes people are like, you know what, I never knew this about this person. I didn't like them before. Now I like them. I'm going to go buy this person's album. I'm going to go see their movie. I love to expose people to new things and help people along their journeys as far as attaining whatever it is that means success to them. So I always felt like my purpose was to be there kind of as a conduit for things like that to happen.
Okay, that's really great. So I know that you're busy. You go around charity. You do the radio. I want to know, what do you like to do on your spare time? What
spare time?
Whatever spare time you get. What do you like to do? You like to read? You like to go to the movies?
I do read a lot. I was an English major, so I have like 1 million books at home. And I always whenever I go someplace and there's a bookstore, I always go in the bookstore. I like to get actual books, not even get it on my iPad. I like to read a book. I love actual books. So it always means a lot to me when I can take the time to sit down and read. Like I have a whole section in my house just for that. And so that's important to me. So a lot of times I have to get off of social media and when I'm not at work or when I'm not doing something, I'm like, all right, I'm going to just put this to the side and not, do that. And so, reading has always been a really big deal to me. And right now, because I'm still kind of a new homeowner, I love doing anything in my house. So I like having my friends come over. They come to the house. We'll have movie night. I just like having a space to be able to do that. I never had all of that. I have a backyard. I know people come from out of town and they're like, a backyard? Why do y'all act like it's such a big deal? But it's a big deal to me, to have outdoor
especially
space.
In New York City. having a backyard in New York City.
So I think, yeah, in my spare time, I'm always at home, like, doing something. People like, just leave the house alone already. But now I'm like, okay, I got to work on the basement. I got to do this. I got to do that. So, and then I think also what's important to me is being outdoors and doing anything physical. Like, just, I love going running. I love anything that gets my blood flowing. And whenever I go running, I always listen to music and leave my phone, you know, in the car or whatever. It's just some nice quiet time. I think that's important too.
Now, I've noticed that you did an interview about a month ago, and the question, because you do lip service, and you mentioned before that, yes, in the industry, you see all these women, these beautiful women, but you want them to have a voice. You want them to know that they're a phenomenal woman behind that. So how important is woman empowerment to you?
It's really important. The reason why I had started lip service in the first place was because there's all these women that we see and we're like, oh, she's beautiful, she's this, she's that, but you never hear them speak. It could be, you know, women in videos. It's just everybody. I think it's great to learn more about people's personalities. And I think a lot of times part of the point of lip service was, you know, as women, we walk into a room and sometimes we feel awkward. There's a bunch of guys and we're like the only girl and we're like, oh, this is awkward. Well, it's the other way around when we do lip service. It's a bunch of women. It's, you know, us chatting. It's like supposed to be about sisterhood. And then a guy walks in the room and now he feels uncomfortable. And it's really nice, I think, to turn the tables in a fun way. You know, it's a fun environment. It's a no judgment zone. Like, we all do and have done crazy things. So it's a great way to learn more about each other. And, you know, to talk about ourselves in a way where people aren't going to be like, you know, people are so judgmental. Like, on social media, I feel like either you're a hoe or you're a prude. And there's no in between. People, I think, if people aren't going to like you, they just aren't going to like you. Some people are just determined, like, I don't like this person. There's people that will go on Twitter and Instagram and...
But will still follow you.
Yeah. And listen, if you say something crazy about me, about my friends or whatever, I will block you. And then they really get mad and then they go everywhere else. And it's just like, okay, I don't have time to do all that. I just ignore all of it. And I have nothing negative to say or think about anybody because I just, you know, I think when you're in a good, happy space, you don't feel like that. Like, I don't have any ill will toward anyone. I'm not like, oh, I hate that person. She's a hoe. I don't even think like that because my life is going so well and I feel so blessed that why would I, you know, have these negative thoughts ever? So
Yes, I absolutely agree. We need to stick together more often. People don't understand that, especially women. They always downgrade each other, and I think the more, I mean, we all win. I want to see all of us win.
Right. So, and I'm always excited when, like, I have an intern or a friend that I can help out as far as, like, getting a job or getting something done. From the smallest things, if one of my friends calls me and is like, oh, I need tickets to this, can you help me? Like, anything I can help somebody do is always great for me. Like, it makes me feel good.
Now, speaking about that, because I know you like to help a lot of people. Oh, she has such a big heart, guys. But I know you've managed artists, too. You've managed J Electronica. Now, do you like to, like, manage artists, or is something that you're moving into, or that you've
I moved out of that. Listen, managing artists is a real, and the reason why is it is a real selfless job. It is putting somebody's life ahead of yours, and it requires a lot of commitment. And I think, you know, for me, the reason it even happened was because he needed a manager. I didn't necessarily want to do it, but I wanted to help because I thought he was so talented. And, you know, we're really good friends. So I was like, all right, I'm going to help you until you find a manager. And so that's how it all really happened with me helping him out. Until then, just, you know, whatever I could do to make sure his life was organized, I would do that and help him out. And but I also feel like I don't have the time to commit to somebody because it is a big responsibility. And I would hate to tell somebody, I can do this, and that for you. But I have my own life that I have to do that's so crazy right now that I would feel like I would drop the ball. So if that was something that I did, I would have to do it full time, and I can't. I kind of manage myself, you know.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So what's next for Miss Angela Yee? You have new projects or new ventures that you are coming out with, or? I
did just start my lip service podcast. It actually started yesterday. So every Wednesday, that's going to be out on LSN Network. So that's on iTunes, SoundCloud, and everything. So I'm super excited about that. And, you know, that's the next thing I'm working on, and that probably is going to evolve into something else. And, you know, goal in life is, you know, I'll feel successful when I've written my first book.
Oh, yes.
And then my second.
Okay. See, we have a lot coming from Miss Angela Yee.
Yes.
So we hope this is not the last time that we can speak to you, because we want to know what's going on with everything.
Yeah, I hope I still have stuff going on so you'll keep wanting to speak to me.
Yes, you definitely will. What message can you give to young, aspiring adults who are trying to turn their dreams into realities?
It's just a lot of hard work, and there's no way around that. There's no shortcuts. It is a matter of you making a lot of sacrifices and, building relationships and being great at what you do. And you're never perfect. You always have to be striving to do better, always, like every day.
Yes. Never give up. Please don't ever give up. Whatever obstacle come around your way, do not give up. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you for having us. Capricorn's here.
Brooklyn here.
Yes. Until next time, guys. See you later.